friends, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton. We're going to sit right here on the head of this draw. We're in East Texas and there's a lot of deer in this area. We're going to do some antler rattling.
Well, friends, welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We are out here deer hunting. I have my love of my life, my wife, sitting in the blind with me.
Hi folks, it's Luke Clayton. It's time for a little cooking segment, and I want to show you a way that I make tamales in the oven.
Welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We're so glad you tuned in to join us for another exciting real-world outdoor adventure right here on A Sportsman's Life.
Well, friends, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton. We're going to sit right here on the head of this draw. We're in East Texas and there's a lot of deer in this area. We're going to do some antler rattling. And if you've never done this, so many people I know have never rattled up a buck. It does not work all the time, but when it works, it's so exciting. We're actually going to move back in here maybe, I don't know, a few hundred yards and set up and start rattling. Might try a little bit here. I'm going to let everything kind of quieten down. There's a lot of acorns in this area behind me, so the deer are naturally going to be in this area, the does, and where there are does, there's bucks. Get you a set of rattling antlers, rattling horns. You can use antlers from, we Texans, by the way, call them horns. Antlers. Get you a good set of rattling antlers. There's no magic sequence. I've rattled a lot with the Rattling fort. Stephen Ray and Larry Weissoon together, we did a lot of rattling out in West Texas. So the whole key, don't worry about something you can hear. Make it sound where you can pull those bucks in from back a good distance. So don't be afraid to make some racket. A little grunt sound every now and then. There's rubs all around here. So we're going to get back in here, I don't know, a ways, several hundred yards. We're going to set up and do some rattling, see if we can bring in a buck. There's some good deer in this area. We're not hunting, we're just rattling. So stick with me, let's see what happens. Bleh. Bleh. Folks, this old buck is looking us over close. This is one, if I had a rifle and was hunting, I would shoot this one. Look at those antlers on that thing. I think he's on the trail of a doe. Maybe he'll come out behind this tree. We'll move over just a little bit, slowly. Yeah. That buck's a good 23 inches wide, I think. 21 anyway. He's right on the trail of a doe. Yep, he picked the scent up. Yeah. That's a good buck. Going to be a really good buck. That's why he is looking so hard. That doe just came out of nowhere. Folks, doe will also come into the antler rattling, no doubt about that. Yeah, he spotted that doe. I know he did. Yep. Yeah, he's still looking for those two bucks that were fighting, that he thought were fighting. Bah. Folks, this one came in with about 30 yards. I don't think he's going to stay long. That is a good buck. Now, he says, why fight when there's all these does out here? Well, folks, that was two really good bucks that that came in. Like I say, the conditions are just right. It's the early part of the rut. Deer on the move big time. There's does. I saw some does chasing back on the hillside behind me. So just a tip, how often should you rattle? I'll sit down, and I've been doing this stuff a long time, and I'd say about 35% of the time it works. Rattle for, 45 seconds. Make them hear it. Get some racket there. And, good things will happen. So don't be afraid to do this. This is a natural sound. You're not really going to spook deer. They hear, and during the rut, they hear this all the time in the woods. So I used to think I'd spook them doing this, but not so. Hope you enjoyed our little segment, folks. I wish we could have got in some more deer, but hopefully we got enough footage to show you what can happen. Good luck on your antler rattling.
Brought to you by Dallas Safari Club, Conservation, Education, and Hunter Advocacy. Hornaday, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus Firearms, maker of the Raging Hunter. Stealth Vision, high-tech, precision-driven equipment tailored for the modern hunter.
Well, friends, welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We are out here deer hunting. I have my love of my life, my wife, sitting in the blind with me, and she's got her 30-30 ready to go. So it's about 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon. A little on the warm side. I wish it was cooler. But we're looking for big whitetails. So we're going to sit, hold tight, see what we see. And good luck to Demi Rice. Maybe she'll put the smack down on a big one. We've been seeing a pretty good 10-point. But we have not seen a frontal shot of him. It's always been from the side. And when you're deer hunting, you really need to look at that deer from the front and see how wide he is. He looks mature, but we really need to take another look at him. And we'll make that decision. So maybe we'll see him tonight, maybe we won't. But stay tuned. Let's get hunting. like a young 8-point. It'll be a nice deer in a few years.
Well, not every hunt is a successful hunt, but we sure had a great time in the blind. This hog entertained us just before dark, and my wife did not feel comfortable taking the shot, so we decided to call it a night. Thanks for joining us here on A Sportsman's Life.
A Sportsman's Life is also brought to you by Mossberg, American Built, American Strong, The YO Steakhouse, Catch and Release Apparel, AGM Global Vision, your go-to for thermal hunting scopes and spotters, Pyramid Air, your one-stop shop for everything air guns.
Hello, sports fans. It's Bill, the old man at Striper Express, with your fishing tip this week on A Sportsman's Life. Yesterday, it is November 21st. Yesterday, one of our guides dead sticked. Y'all all know what it is, and if you don't, I want to show you the colors we use. I call them circus colors. Check it out. These are 1.5 ounces. You got to use these big ones in the wind. Circus colors. Here's my favorite, white glow. Can you see that? White glow. And then look at that. Circus colors, bright for dead sticking. That's 1.5 ounces head. Look at that one. Metal flake. 1.5 ounces head. Use the 1 ounces on 4-inch chartreuse glitter, old standby, and of course the white glowing 4-inch. This is our big fish bait. This is a 5-inch sassy. Put it on them 1.5 ounces and you'll catch big fish with this. Now, look at this. The Bass Assassin. Still got a paddle tail, but less vibration. White glow. Can you see that little tail? That's nothing compared to the 5 and 4 incher. Less vibration. As the water cools, we use less vibration. Example, flukes. We put flukes on these. Can you see that flat tail? There you go. What do we got here? Good old chartreuse glow. That's less vibration. When the water gets around 40 to 50, you don't need that paddle tail vibrating so hard. Just straight tail like that. So, dead sticking. It's already starting to happen. We'll talk about next week on how to do it. You're hanging the bait over the side and you're waiting for the fish to bite. You need a thumper. I'll explain those, and a splasher. But there's the jigs you use. Chartreuse colors if you want dead stick. It's a heck of a way to put fish in the boat. So there you go. There's your fishing tip this week on Sportsman's Life. Go catch a fish.
A special thanks to these fine sponsors, Vineyard Max Deer Products, and the Anchor Inn and Marina on beautiful Lake Tawakoni, 1 hour east of Dallas.
Hi folks, it's Luke Clayton. It's time for a little cooking segment, and I want to show you a way that I make tamales in the oven. You know, the conventional way to make tamales is using a double boiler and steaming them for about 2 hours, which is, it's a long process and it's a lot of work, but you can make tamales probably in half the time if you use this method, using aluminum foil, a double layer, a little moisture in it, and bake them, and they come out just perfect. So let me walk you through the process. Well friends, here are the ingredients that I use to make the tamales. We are not going to steam these. We're going to actually bake these tamales in a double layer of foil here. So basically, you know, get you some masa harina. This Bob's Red Mill is real good, or just get you some regular old masa flour. And you're going to need to mix that with some chicken broth. We are making some wild turkey breast fajitas. And then I use this Las Palmas green chili enchilada sauce, and I use that for the liquid to make the filler here for the tamales. And into this went about 3/4 of a cup of Crisco. So you wanted a pretty good consistency where you can actually spoon it on the tamales, on the corn husk, I should say. So that's about it. And you want to make sure on your corn husk and let them set in warm water for a couple of hours. And here's the turkey breast. Now I cooked that down and shredded it, and actually added some of the chicken broth to it, added some of the enchilada, the green chili enchiladas, and also I put some green salsa in there too. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble a few of these. Assembling the things is a little bit tricky. What you want to do is use the top part. Put your ingredients on from about right here and leave the tail end of these corn husks open. Let's assemble one, let you look at it. Not rocket science, friends. So here is one of the corn husks with the masa spread. Note what I was talking about. Most of the masa is up at the top, and you want to leave this tail section open so you can fold it over like this. Here's the finished product right here. So start with this, a thin layer. You don't want to get it real thick, your masa. Just a thin layer, and then roll this up tight. It looks like this, and then it's ready to bake. So that's what we're going to do different. We're probably going to make a couple of dozen of these, and instead of using a double boiler and steaming them, we're going to actually bake them at about 250, 275 until they're done, till the masa is cooked. So I'll assemble a bunch of them, give you a look at them when we get them together. And here's a few of them assembled. I've got a few more to place in here, but basically instead of steaming these, we're going to wrap these up in a double layer of this heavy foil, and we're going to bake them at about 250, 275 until that masa flour is cooked and we have some tasty tamales. So I'm going to load them up outside in my Smoking Tex electric smoker. Not put any smoke on them, of course, just use it as an oven. And we'll let them go for probably about 2 hours, and we'll give them a check. I think we're going to have some really tasty tamales that we did not have to steam. Well, folks, here's our tamales. Who says you have to steam tamales? Look at this one right here. Probably hard to see it with all these others, but comes free from the husk just fine. There's part of the tamale, there's the other part. Very, very tasty. So I hope you picked up a little tip, folks. You can make tamales without steaming them for 2 or 3 hours. These were cooked in an oven right here. Folks, this segment was brought to us by Gearhead Archery, Smoking Tex Electric Smokers, Snaplock Hunting Blinds, YO Ranch Headquarters, Ultramatic Feeders, and Catfish Pro. Tune in next week for some more real-world outdoor adventures right here on A Sportsman's Life.